Hello everyone, my name is Afreen Asmat and I welcome you all again in this revision video. So today we are going to start this unit 16 of IEIFS module B, that is business cycles, right? So let's start discussing. First of all, let's talk about what is a business cycle. So business cycle, which is also known as economic cycle, it refers to the economic-wide fluctuation in production and economic activity. So sometime you know that when the demand rises, right, there is a boost of production. When there is a demand falling, there is a decline in the production. So when due to the effect, due to the changes in the demand, the production and economic activity fluctuate in the market. That fluctuation, that changes is called as the business cycle, right? So these fluctuations should occur around a long-term growth trend, right? And they typically exist for some period, right? So that is called as the business cycle, or you can also call it as an economic cycle, right? Now, what are the characteristics of the business cycle? So when we are talking about the characteristic of the business cycle, the very first characteristic is a business cycle is synchronic in nature. Synchronic means it occurs almost at the same time in all the industries. If there is a rise in the demand and rise in the production, it occurs almost at maximum industry same time, right? So it is synchronic. It means that almost every industry is experiencing the same type of trend, right? So always it is said that business cycle is synchronic. Second, business cycle is a wave-like movement. Wave-like movement means there is no direct line. Okay. Wave-like movement means when there is an upward trend, there is a downward trend also. Then there is an upward trend, then there is a downward trend also. If there is a boost in the production, there will be a phase of down also. If there is a down phase, there will be a phase of up also. That is called as the wave-like movement. And third is the cyclical nature. So it is recurring in nature. If it is in the booming phase, then again it will in the bane phase, then again it will recover from that, right? So it is recurring in nature, it is cyclical in nature. So these are the characteristic of the business cycle. Now let's start discussing one by one the cycle. First phase is called as the boom phase. Now boom phase is a phase where everything seems to be perfect. The production is very high because of the high demand in the market. So the demand is very high, due to which the production need is very high, due to which the employment is very high. Employment high, so people are earning a good amount of money, right? They are spending more in the market. Everyone is in the profit. The laborers are getting more income. The labor are getting more than the expected income, as well as the productions, the producers are getting more profit, more and more profit. Investors are attracted toward this market because of the rising profit which is seen in this particular phase. This is called as the boom phase, right? So boom phase means everything is very good, going very good, everything is going like this graph, upward graph. Demand is high, production is high, employment is high, income is high, profit is high. Investors are attracted towards this phase. So obviously investment is also very high, right? But boom, if there is a boom, it contain itself the downward phase also, because when this is everything at its peak, then this economy start experiencing the fundamental disbalance, right? Because the demand of the product goes high and high and high, because the people have a lot of income to spend, but at the same time the production is not so much high. So the demand is rising, the supply is getting lower, the prices become high, right? Then it start the downward phase after the boom, right? So when there is a boom, the next phase can be a recession phase. Now, what is a recession? When we are talking about the recession, recession says that first of all, in few sectors, it exists sector wise, right? Sometimes when we are seeing talking people about the recession, we are seeing that people says that uh, uh, electronic business is recession, Infrastructure business is in recession. Gold business is in recession. Share market business is recession. No one is saying that India is in recession. Why? Because the very first and important thing to understand in recession is recession exists in few sector of the economy, not every sector. Now the second point, recession says that few sectors has a low pricing, means the prices of the product in that sectors are low. And third point says that in despite of the low pricing, the demand is not going high. Demand is not going high, so people are not earning the profit here. Why? Despite of the low pricing, why the demand is not high? Because the fourth point says that in recession, people have less money to spend, right? So they were focusing more and more on their basic need rather than spending it anywhere, right? So that is called as recession. So recession exists in few sectors, says that in that few sector the prices are low. But despite of the low pricing, the demand is not going high. Why? Because people have less money to spend. That is called as recession. And when we are talking about these few sectors, mostly these few sectors are luxury or investments area. Like for example, I'm giving you the example. I'm saying that gold business is going into recession. It means that the prices of gold are low. Still, the demand is not high. Why? Because people have less money to spend in gold. They are focusing on their basic necessities. So gold business is in recession, right? So recession, low pricing, less demand. Why? Because people have less money. They are spending in their basic necessities. So the luxury and investments area mostly go in recession. Clear? Now, next is the depression. Recession is called as recession when it hits in few sector of economy. Recession is converted into depression when it hits in each and every sector of economy. It means that yes, India's sectors goes in recession, but if every sector is experiencing the same thing, luxury, investments, basic necessities, people have such low money that they can't afford their basic necessities also, then that situation is called as depression. So depression is when recession hits in each and every sector of economy, then it is called as depression. So in depression, you will find underemployment of both men and material. Demands are less than the production. There is extremely low demand and the inflation is comparatively lower. That is called as depression. And the last cycle is called as recovery phase. In depression, when people are tired of sitting at home, okay, then they step out to work, right? So in depression, when everyone is tired, like now we want to work even at a lower wage. So labor start working at a lower wage. When labor start working at a lower wage, slowly and steadily production start rising. When production start rising, the suppliers are going to supply product in the market. People are getting lower at less price the particular item. The demand is slowly and steadily increasing. When the demand is increasing, production is again picking up, employment picking up. Then that phase is called as recovery phase. So after the depression, depression in itself contained the gems of recovery. When after the depression, the workers now come forward to work at a lower wages. Prices are at lowest, consumption is start. Now the demand increases, stock of food become insufficient, economic activities start picking up, investment picking up, employment start rising. This is called as the recovery phase. So recovery phase means increase in the demand. Recovery phase is demand rising, due to which inflation also began to increase. That is called as recession. Sorry, recovery, right? So this is the complete chapter, the phases of the business cycle. I hope that you have all understood this session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this session. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Bye bye, guys. Bye, everyone. Take care.